I come from a very blue-collar, working-class family, and my family really didn't value education. It started maybe 11 or 12 years ago when my oldest son was 11, and I knew the director of the Community Action Center, and with her help we wrote a grant, and it was to start working with those women who were going to be forced to go back to work. They'd been home, single moms, taking care of their kids. The laws were changing and they were going to be forced to go back to work, so we got together and started a group called Community Builders. And they were going to give me feedback about what prevents them from going to work, what kind of childcare would they need, and I saw how difficult it was for the kids and the moms. I think that's how the whole thing started, but it was more about the moms. And then back in 2005, there was a group of people, including myself, and we were looking at sort of the data and the statistics and realized only 36% of the Latinos were actually graduating from high school. And I became familiar with the kids in my kids' classes where it was very clear that they had pretty limited resources and family support was really hard. And so I just got to know their stories and understood that they were needing support and their moms might be working and they were just drifting. So the critical thing seemed to be, how are we going to take care of these kids? So we decided we were going to start a youth center. Now I think this is really crazy that we thought with no support or help from anybody, we're just these moms, none of us are working, none of us really have connections in the community, and we're going to start a youth center. We were able to be in this one facility for the summer months free of charge. And then we had to leave that building because school was starting in the fall and they needed the building back. We started to think not only should it be a summer program, but it should be an after-school program. You know, all the data and research shows that that is the highest risk time for teenagers, the 3 to 6 time. The middle school youth center used to be primarily low-income white kids initially. But we were able to find the funds to provide busing. And what happened when we had the funds for busing is a lot of our ESL Latino kids suddenly could participate because they could be in school and get bused home at 5 o'clock. So it's interesting to me that I'm still working with youth and families, as this was never my intentional goal. So I started with the grant, the Community Builders Grant, working with the low-income moms and their kids, and then that evolved into the Middle School Youth Center, realizing that, you know, these young tweens needed a place to hang out. So now that I'm with Torch here at the middle school, it's just kind of the coincidence where I'm still here working with middle school kids. Torch, and you know, the actual program name stands for Tackling Obstacles and Raising College Hopes. And the criteria is being minority, low income, or first generation college. It was a program to address the achievement gap here in Northfield, but it really has evolved to a very quality program with lots of resources. So kids are getting homework help, and there's always a recreational activity involved. There's some families who I think really do at this point trust me, and all these kids, or many of these kids I should say, they've got my cell phone number. So even weekends I get calls from kids. This is really where I belong. It's truly where I thrive. Love to be.